But getting back to politics, a new monarch, quote unquote, was crowned this week with the announcement of the nominee for vice president.
Yeah, and J.D. Vance, that's somebody I've mentioned on this show before. I must say I'm quite critical of J.D. Vance. I have some major problems with him, but I will say out of the short list, he might have been the best. I might have preferred somebody like Dr. Ben Carson or even Tucker Carlson even, but at the same time, out of that short list, we could have ended up with Nikki Haley, and we ended up with J.D. Vance, so we dodged a bullet on that one. However, it's important that we look into what he stands for and what his story is. So very briefly, a lot of his story you can read in his book, The Hillbilly Elegy. Bit of a strange title, too, because it implies that the sort of hillbillies that he's from is dead, and elegies for the dead, of course. Yeah. So a bit strange there, because he's talking about a sort of people that has sort of died off, that's been left behind by the government establishment. He had a very hard upbringing with his, a lot was spent with his mother, who was stuck in addiction and adultery, and eventually he went and got a start with his grandmother that allowed him to go to Yale Law School, I believe it was, and did very well there. And that's the point. Up to there is often what gets emphasized with J.D. Vance, but where I start to get critical of him is what happened after Yale Law School, when he did become an elite. I think it's fair to say he is an elite now, and he's been an elite ever since then. And that's when he got involved with Silicon Valley, and he started becoming very involved with a connection he made named Peter Thiel. Now, for anybody that doesn't know who Peter Thiel is, the followers of Peter Thiel represent a quite substantial faction within the Republican Party. Peter Thiel is a homosexual sort of venture capitalist. He was the co-founder of PayPal. He also is now heavily involved in the military-industrial complex, using facial recognition software to sell to different places like the Israeli government or the United States government. Even that's with things like Palantir is his big organization that he founded. And the reason why he's so substantial is not only did he help J.D. Vance get his start in Silicon Valley, but you might be saying, who is this J.D. Vance guy? Well, he got his start in 2022 after getting the largest political donation of the year from Peter Thiel. Over $15 million went to J.D. Vance's campaign, allowed him to win the senatorial race in Ohio. So this network that J.D. Vance is a part of is this Peter Thiel network. A lot of what they promote, I have major issues with. It's a lot of what they have you can find in the writings of a man like Curtis Yarvin. And what that's promoting is an atheistic or a non-religious view of authoritarianism that is at the same time libertarianism. So sort of using authoritarianism to promote libertarianism within society. I think that's often a reason for why we see some of J.D. Vance's policies. So something he's recently talked about really within the past few months, I think, in his bid to try to get this vice president race, is he's now for the abortion pill. It's not even something of sort of political prudence. He came out on an interview and said that Donald Trump and he and Donald Trump are openly for, in principle, Americans having access to the abortion pill.
On the question of the abortion pill, what so many of us have said is that, look, we certainly don't, the Supreme Court made a decision saying that the American people should have access to that medication. Donald Trump has supported that opinion. I support that opinion. I think it's important to say that we actually have to have an important conversation in this country about what our abortion policy should be.
But just to be clear, you support mifepristone being accessible?
Yes, Kristen, I do.
Now, yes, J.D. Vance is a Catholic convert, but that is certainly not Catholic. That is, of course, a sin to be promoting the abortion pill, which constitutes most of the abortions in these United States. So that is, of course, very unfortunate. He's also recently given a speech to the Quincy Institute saying that his vision of America first, while it involves detaching from things like Ukraine, he says we need to be very involved in Israel because he's a Christian and has a Judeo-Christian tie and obligation to support Israel because of his religion. We've talked about this sort of dispensationalism before and the sort of false nature of it at its very foundation. So the last thing I'll say about J.D. Vance, one of the only good things to come out of that sort of Peter Thiel network, despite just really being an immoral view of conservatism, is that it is pro free speech. And that is, at the end of the day, one of the reasons why I think I will end up giving my support to this dreadful Republican ticket that it's turning out to be, is because it's going to allow things like Catholic Family News to stay operational. I'm not confident that the current administration will let that happen, but I still offer reservations. A man that's so involved with the military industrial complex, with the CIA, with foreign governments, I'm not comfortable giving my wholehearted support to that. And I will promote and encourage others to promote a different option when Donald Trump leaves the White House, as Brian mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and again, I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he's a young convert, 2019. As far as I can tell, he certainly did not convert to traditional Catholicism.
No.
So, what formation he got when he converted, I don't know. It is very sad because he used to say, and I heard him say years ago when I heard him speak very early on, before he'd gotten this popular, that abortion was one of the first issues that led him to the Catholic Church, and one of the first issues that got him into politics. And that he years ago said that that issue and how evil abortion is meant a lot to him. To have his thinking turn so much is sad. So again, objectively, I agree with everything you say. I feel sorry because this person could have had some great influence. If the church had been the church of the 1940s when he converted, we'd probably have a very different person today.
For sure. And I still think it's possible that a priest could correct J.D. Vance,
Yeah.
and he is correctable. However, we have to pray for these politicians, because you can imagine what a terrible state it really is to be in when you're full of all of these donors, millions of dollars at stake, and there's so much power at stake. It's very difficult to stand up for your principles. Last thing I'll say, though, is it does seem that J.D. Vance does change his principles quite frequently, which many of us, we do change. It's just inevitable. But look, he was very anti-Trump back in 2016. I'm willing to excuse that because of his Catholic conversion. Maybe he had a realization that sort of neoliberalism in the Republican Party was a bad idea. But at the end of the day, you're either a Catholic or you're not. And you have to support what the Catholic Church teaches or not. And what the Catholic Church teaches is that human life is sacred at the moment of conception. I hope J.D. Vance realizes this. I hope his priest corrects him. I hope the bishop corrects him. We need to hold him to the same standard that we hold Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, certainly.
Most definitely.